Hi, my name is Kaylee Rinehart, and I'm going to talk to you today about adapting to time blindness. Everybody has a clock in their car. My clock in my car is set exactly 12 and a half minutes fast. It started at just 2 minutes fast. Then every daylight savings, I would cheat the clock just a little bit to make sure that I was getting to places on time. But now, 12 and a half minutes seems a little out of control because I obviously know in my head that it can't be that exact time. I found that it helps me out more because it forces me to think about the time passing and do a little bit of math in my head to pay attention to what time it really is. So first, I'm going to give you all a little timeline to go off of for this presentation. I'm going to talk about the problem, then the people who struggle with this and their feelings, my research, and finally my solutions. So first comes the problem. What is time blindness? Time blindness is an executive dysfunction that causes an inability to sense the passing of time and a lack of memory for when events took place. And little sidebar, what is an executive dysfunction? It's when your brain can't do something at all, no matter how much you want it to. So who has time blindness? People with neurodevelopmental disorders, such as ADHD and autism, people with a neurological condition, such as someone who had a brain injury or a stroke, or someone with Alzheimer's or schizophrenia. Lastly, time blindness is also very common in people with stress disorders and sleep disorders. Now let's get into the people. These are some user personas that all struggle with time blindness. John Stein is a 78-year-old retired social butterfly who wants to remember where to show up and to show up to places on time. His struggles are a lack of technological expertise, and he has declining health, and that plays a factor into his forgetfulness. His current solution is a wall calendar that he takes everywhere with him, and he often forgets. Parker Bailey is a 45-year-old new grandmother who wants to feel less overwhelmed when her family comes to visit, and she wants to be aware of her tasks at all times. Her pain points are a tight budget and a tight schedule. Her current solutions are a calendar app on her phone. And lastly, Dougie Faber is a 22-year-old student and a creative. His goals are to have enough time to work on side projects, while also staying on top of his homework. He has a lack of prioritizing tasks and can't stay focused on a task. His current solution for his time blindness is an Apple Watch. So what are the similarities between all of these three people? Well, let's take a look at what their average day would look like. First, they would wake up, they would grab some coffee, they would go and get some work done, they have a meeting to attend, a commute home, some household chores to do, and finally a bedtime. So some pain points extracted from this day that they would struggle with would be when they wake up, they hit snooze multiple times because they have an inability to sense the time passing, especially early in the morning when they're groggy. They grab breakfast quickly due to them underestimating how long getting ready will take. And at work, they don't prioritize their work, leading to them getting hung up on less important busy work. This leads to them not giving their full attention during their meeting. They're too focused on what work they should accomplish. And their commute home can take longer than expected because car rides and trips are hard for them to plan the time out for. Their household chores are put off because they get distracted very easily and they don't realize how late it is and they go to bed past their bedtime and the cycle repeats. So some thoughts that they would have during the day would be, what time is it? What do I do first? I don't know what to focus on, and what should I do when I get home? This leads to them feeling rushed, overwhelmed, and unproductive. Now let's dig into the research. It is important to know what already helps people who struggle with time blindness. So, what is already on the market? There are time management apps like Trello and Asana, which serve as online planners with alarms and reminders. There is time tracking software, such as Rescue Time and Toggle, which are used to organize the productivity of a group of people in the workplace, not necessarily for each individual person. There is smart jewelry, such as Aura and Circular, that track heart rate, sleep patterns, and oxygen levels. This is important to helping the symptoms of time blindness because your circadian rhythm are very closely linked with your time perception. There are chronotherapy devices, such as Hatch and Bagby, which are dawn simulators serve to improve your circadian rhythms. They especially help when it's 5 a.m. on a cold winter day and it's pitch black outside and getting out of bed is the last thing that you want to do. So having your entire room already brightly lit is going to make your body feel more awake. There are planners, we all know what those are, and there are interval timers, timers that alarm in intervals. So even though these are all very helpful, they're not made to address the time perception to help an executive dysfunction. From all of these products combined, I came up with some design guidelines that I wanted to accomplish. I wanted the user to not have to remember to use it, such as plugging appointments in. And I didn't want the user to need a lot of background tech knowledge to use it. I also didn't want to involve checking your phone a lot, because that can lead to a myriad of other distractions, as we all know. Now we can take a look at these design guidelines matched up to my competitive set, and see that none of them meet all of the criteria. I'm going to put a pin in this and revisit these design guidelines later. Real quick, is there anything other than these products and services that help time blindness? And the answer is yes. Therapy. More specifically, I wanted to focus on telehealth. And why does it help? Well, telehealth can provide a therapy service to lessen the symptoms of time blindness and to condition new ways of thinking, and here's how. Time perception is broken down into 3 sections. Awareness, which is thinking realistically about time as a limited resource. Arrangement, which is organizing goals into a schedule. And adaptation, which is monitoring the use of time while also being productive. Talk therapy is the only thing that can touch on all 3 of these branches at once. So I wanted to make a telehealth platform that can help people do mental exercises to help them improve each individual's strength in these 3 branches, as well as offering therapy. The platform consists of 3 steps. Step 1, identifying harmful thoughts and emotions. Step 2, identifying where help needs to be focused. And Step 3, coaching on how to rearrange your thought processes. This leads me to my solutions. My first solution is Toward, an easy-to-navigate online platform to provide users with a space to identify their problems and provide therapy to solve them. The benefit of doing this online would be to minimize the amount of time spent with a therapist, so that people with time restrictions, both mental and physical, would have less of a time commitment. The time with the therapist is minimized because the platform provides space to let the user practice critical thinking and task prioritization on their own time, which acts as a conditioning to help users prioritize their tasks. This can also be done on a mobile device. This solves for the problem of a difficult user interface, which can look a little like this. And this isn't my only solution. I also knew that a product designed specifically for this problem that combines features from other products can help users overcome their time blindness. So let's revisit our design guidelines based off of my competitive set. We wanted to have no remembering involved, no extensive tech knowledge, and not involve checking your phone. Because there should be no remembering involved and no checking your phone, I wanted this product to be a wearable. I added a few extra design guidelines to meet. It should measure your heart rate, it should never need to be removed on a daily basis, and it should be durable. We can see that compared to all of our competitive sets, none of these products meet all the guidelines as well. So I came up with the ring, with the intended purpose of helping people minimize the symptoms of time blindness. This ring has photoplethysmographic sensors, shortened to PPG sensors, that use infrared light to sense your blood flow directly from your arteries, giving a much more accurate read than a smartwatch that just senses blood flow from capillaries on the back of your wrist. It is also going to give a more accurate read across all skin tones than a watch would. This ring also has an interval timer feature that uses small vibrating pads that alarm you in intervals that you can set yourself. This simple solution would make interval timers portable without alarming everyone around you. It has a small charger and needs to be recharged about once a week, and there are a few colorways as well. The material is made out of titanium, so that it can be easily colored to whatever you'd like it to be. Now back to our user personas. Where are they now? John can remember more things now that he has practiced with organizing his thoughts. The ring also helps his sleeping patterns, and he feels more in control of his life. Parker can now be present in her time spent with her family now that she doesn't have to juggle everything that she has to do in her mind at once. And Dougie now has enough time for all of his hobbies, due to his interval timer reminding him to stay on track, and his new sleeping habits help improve his internal clock. Now, they all have better solutions than setting their clock 12 and a half minutes fast. Thank you very much for watching.